Hello and welcome to the What Women Want Today podcast. You might be asking yourself right about now, well, what do women want? I mean, we're pretty complex creatures, right? Well, I think we want it all, and I'm here to explore it with you. My name is Terry Kellums. I'm your host. Go grab your favorite beverage. I've already got my glass of wine, and let's get started. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the podcast. I'm your host. Oh my goodness, it's been a couple of weeks between the flip house entering its final days and all of the things that were going on with that. We spent 7 weekends in a row in Phoenix, and it's like a 3.5 hour drive each way, which I guess the drive in itself isn't all that bad, but being away from home 7 weekends in a row kind of took its toll. In addition to getting the final things done on the flip house, my husband's grandma also hurt herself and was in the hospital. And so I was helping take care of her. But I'm back. I'm here. It's time to get out the final episode in the series on happiness. So I'm going to briefly recap the 5 elements that lead to sustainable happiness, or what we now know as Eudemonic Happiness. And I'm going to introduce you to the 6th element today. I'm also going to share 3 things you can start doing today with this element. So we started this series back on August 30th with the episode titled, Are We Happy Yet? This is when I first started answering the question, is happiness the primary emotion we should be seeking? In the first episode of the series, which was episode 82, we talked about the benefits of personal growth for our Eudemonic happiness. And we learned that it has other benefits such as healthier relationships, stress, health, productivity, income, mindset, parenting, and resilience. In that episode, I also gave you 4 tips to uplevel your personal growth. We talked about the second element, which was the importance of personal relationships and how we are hardwired to connect with others, and basically that our well-being depends on it. The third element, self-acceptance, and how it is different from self-esteem. The fourth element, we discovered that there are 3 types of autonomy, and I shared 5 things on how to strengthen them. The 5th element is environmental mastery. And the last of the elements that lead to Eudemonic happiness is purpose. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're talking about purpose. And make sure you stick around until the end because I have an announcement to share with you. Well, actually 2 announcements. Ralph Waldo Emerson famously quoted, "The purpose of life is not to be happy. It is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, and to have it have made some difference that you have lived and lived well." It reminds me of a song both my husband and I love by One Republic called I Lived. The lyrics are a reminder of living. And here's a couple of them. I hope that when you take that jump, you don't fear the fall. I hope when the water rises, you've built a wall. I hope when everybody runs, you choose to stay. I hope when you fall in love, it hurts so bad. The only way you can know is to give it all you had. Isn't this what we've really been talking about over this series? Not just observing, but participating in our own lives? So let's start with this question. Do you have a nagging thought about what you think your purpose is, but you say to yourself, people will think I'm crazy? Let me share with you a story about a woman who approached me about coaching a couple years back. She started out by sharing some things going on in her life that she was unhappy about. Her career had stalled. Her marriage had turned into a roommate with occasional benefits. Her grown child had moved back into the home and was not respecting any rules or boundaries. Our conversation lasted about an hour, and then she determined that she was stuck in the life she had with no options. Can I share a tough love truth with you? Most people complain about things that they have the power to change. I've had coaching clients say they want more for their life, and in the next breath say they don't want anything to change. What we really feel is stuck. There is a familiarity and comfortableness in where we are right now, but there's also an uncomfortable feeling of living less than what we are capable of. To not resist that more sometimes might mean change. We're afraid of taking risks, afraid of being uncomfortable with our choices. So instead of facing it, we avoid it, telling ourselves we're too busy or that taking time out for ourselves feels selfish. I think I shared on the podcast recently that I had been feeling like I needed more community. So I joined an athleisure wear company as a brand partner. But I've also shared with you that I don't believe that every passion leads to a purpose. And here's one of my passions: creative things, doing painting or refinishing furniture, or just love the act of creativity. So much so that I thought about opening one of those workshop franchises. I don't know if you have one in your area, but what you do is you go in, the one I'm thinking of, you go in and you pick a project. Actually, I think you pick it online before you ever go in there. You pay for it ahead of time, and that way they can have all the materials ready for you. So you go in, you sit at the table, you've got your project in front of you. If you have questions, they help walk you through it. They supply all the materials. And usually you do it with a friend. Could be a good date night type thing. But I mean, I just love it. Every time I've done it, I've loved it. And I love being able to look at things that I've created and just sort of like remember the experience. And, you know, I'm not super hard on myself. I have never created a perfect project. Let me tell you that right now. But I loved it so much that I thought about opening one of those places. And I decided to vet it out. So I looked at every aspect of the business side. I looked at possibly, you know, where the location could be that I thought would be, you know, reasonable cost, and where it wouldn't be too inconvenient for people to come in, but what I could afford, obviously. I looked at how much money I would need to invest and potentially what would my expenses be versus profit. They give you a lot of that information on their website. And what would my time commitment be? And then I went with a friend in Phoenix and participated in a workshop to observe it from a different perspective. And you know what I discovered? I'm much more interested in participating than trying to run it as a business. But I call trying that dream on for size. You know, kind of like how you go in and you're looking for a party dress and you're trying it on for size just to see if it fits right. Why can't we do that with our dreams as well? And here's my belief and my coaching philosophy when it comes to purpose. It can be summed up in 2 words. Know thyself. Find out who you really are and understand yourself. According to legend, some 2,500 years ago, the words know thyself were carved into stone at the entrance of Apollo's temple at Delphi in Greece. Even emotional intelligence theory is based on this aphorism. Understanding your feelings, discovering your strengths and weaknesses is an action towards self-knowledge. Aristotle said, knowing ourselves is the beginning of all wisdom. So here are the 3 things you can start with when it comes to this particular element. So the first one is, what are your values? And this is so important because these are our guiding principles. We operate and behave out of our values even if we aren't always aware of what they are. If you have no idea where to start narrowing down your values, because we all have many, I am going to place a link in the show notes where you can just get like a list of, and they're in alphabetical order, a list of all the values. And I would recommend narrowing it down to the list of 10 and place them in order of importance. Your top 3 will be the most important to focus on. Okay, the next one. What are your strengths? Again, you can go out to Google and find a strengths finding quiz or book, but these are important for you to be aware of. You might even want to ask for input from close friends, family members, or even your partner. Okay, the last one, number 3. Who do you want to serve? This is where your purpose will come together. These are some questions you can ask yourself. What excites you? What do you daydream about? What do you see or hear in our world today that makes you want to take action? What group of people that are underserved could use your gifts and talents? Okay, we've reviewed all the 6 elements of Eudemonic Happiness, and I've given you 3 things you can do today to begin uncovering your purpose. Now it's time for my 2 announcements. First one, January 2nd, I'm opening 5 spots for new clients. And I'm offering both my 12-week Path to Purpose or my new program, The 6 Elements. If you are a former coaching client and would like to start out the new year with a maintenance package, I have a special package and program pricing for you. please contact me for both of those or any of those pricing at terry.kellums@gmail.com and put pricing in the subject line, or reach out to me via private message on social media. I'll put all those links in the show notes. We can discuss if coaching is right for you. And my second announcement is that I am taking a brief hiatus from the podcast. I've been thinking about taking it in a new direction for a little while, and I want to take some time out to explore that. Also was approached recently on doing some public speaking, and I'm going to try that dream on for size for a little bit too, do some exploring on that. But I appreciate you being here with me so much today. I hope you've enjoyed the series on Eudemonic Happiness. I think there's a lot to go back and revisit with these 6 elements. That's what inspired my new program, the 6 elements, so we could dive into each one of them individually. And, another thought I did want to share with you before my hiatus is one of the things that I've thought about for the podcast in season 2 is having a co-host. So if you're someone who, I think a couple of things, A, enjoy listening to podcasts, B, enjoy having conversations about things that concern women. You don't have to have any technical knowledge. You just have to have the desire to serve midlife women and a passion to bring new and interesting topics to the podcast each week. So if that's something that interests you, let's have a conversation about it. Reach out to me on my email or one of my social media handles, and let's kind of explore that together. Otherwise, I look forward to getting back with you again. I don't expect the hiatus to be very long. I'm not going to put a time frame on it, but I look forward to getting back behind the mic again very soon. In the meantime, I hope you're following me on social media. I've been asked to revive some of my live conversations on Instagram, so I am considering that as well. I hope you all have a wonderful holiday season. I hope the new year brings you joy and purpose and fulfillment. And until I am behind the mic again, please remember to take good care of you. Hey friend, I hope you enjoyed our time together today and found the information valuable. Remember, you are officially invited to join our Facebook group and private group. I will put the links in today's show notes. If you are interested in exploring coaching, you can email me at terry, terri.kellums, KELLUMS, @gmail.com, or private message me on Facebook or Instagram. If you're enjoying the content of the podcast, remember to share with a friend or on social media. It really does help other women find the podcast. And if you have yet to leave a rating and review, you can do that on your favorite platform. Okay, remember, you are not alone. You are worthy of love and a fulfilled life. Now it's time to go after it.